Hey, thanks for checking out The Solid Verbal. Now would be a great time to subscribe to the channel for college football content all off season long.
Our friend Ross Dellinger wrote, I thought, a really well-researched article on the state of play in college football as it stands, again, a mid-May qualifier. And he had an interesting nugget in there about 7 ACC teams banding together. And I don't know if banding together is the right way to put it, but 7 ACC teams got together, have been getting together to have talks around this ACC grant of rights deal. Again, they are locked into this media rights thing with ESPN for the next 13 seasons. The gap between them and others in college football is ever growing with respect to annual income, the rights of the media, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The legal scholars among us who have looked at this thing, not many folks have, but it is widely believed, to be pretty airtight. But there are 7 teams that I think are looking into it. That represents half the league. Brett McMurphy, our friend who we had on a few months back, we'll have to bring him on at some point before the start of the season or if news breaks. Brett McMurphy unearthed who those 7 schools were. We knew that it was Florida State and Clemson. What we didn't know is that it also included Miami, North Carolina, North Carolina State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech, providing a little bit of clarity there on what Brett referred to as the Magnificent Seven. Not a whole lot of magnificence in that 7, at least if you look at what happened last year. However, now we have some clarity on who the 7 are. Some of the theories in Ross's article, let's say, is breaking away, starting your own breakaway league. I find it hard to believe that North Carolina would do it without Duke coming along as well, but okay. Your thoughts on the Magnificent 7, Dan?
Didn't move my needle, Ty.
No?
Didn't move my needle. Look, I understand why some of those schools are very attractive to other conferences. You know, North Carolina and Virginia have long been considered to be a fit with the Big Ten, for instance. You know, really strong academics and good basketball. Lord knows the Big Ten loves basketball, at least regular season basketball. To me, it doesn't seem like they've been succeeding in the postseason, but that's not the sport I cover. What do I know? Look, we're a football show, and I don't know what like Nebraska, Virginia, or Florida State and Clemson obviously would be attractive to any conference across America, especially Florida State, given the size of the school and the location of the school and the number of alumni that Florida State has and their place in college football these last 30, 40 years. But no, it just all feels like a pursuit to dilute everything.
To dilute. Look at you.
The pursuit to dilute. Don King over here. I'm just, not it. I understand why it's happening. Obviously, everybody wants to make as much money as humanly possible, and there's this like ongoing forever race to make the most money and position yourself in the best possible way for the most, the biggest audience to see you. But the ACC is an enormous conference, both in terms of its members and, the footprint that the ACC has. This ongoing swirling of, we got to get to this conference. We got to explore our options for this. Is Peacock involved now? Is Amazon? Is that like, it is exhausting, Ty. I think the ACC has a bad deal, and I saw one of their options was try to ask ESPN for more money, and it's not going to happen. Why would ESPN do that? They have you at a great rate, locked in for a long time. So I don't know. It didn't move my needle much. It's just the off season, and it's teams posturing to try to get themselves a bigger check.
I think that's what it comes down to. Again, these are teams that are exploring their options. One of those options, and this has been mentioned with more frequency over the last couple of weeks, potentially considering unequal revenue sharing, which is great if you're Florida State, not great if you're Wake Forest.
Yeah.
As many have pointed out, this is not a new vantage point. Florida State, Clemson, they signed the paperwork way back when. They signed the paperwork. And so to now want to change the rules, that I don't know. I don't know how well that's going to work. Seems like a long shot from my vantage point, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. The Magnificent 7, though, now has arms and legs. We know who they are again. Florida State, Clemson, Miami, North Carolina State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech.
It's pretty fun that we are paying attention to and fans of a sport where all of the enormous teams are all but saying, I don't like if we like being associated with some of the teams in our conference. I don't know if we like, earning so much money and having everybody else suckle at our profit teat. And suckle. And then we're going to get to a point where these teams are going to go to the Big Ten or the SEC. I'm like, why is Vanderbilt here? Why is Maryland here? Why is Illinois here?
And then there's going to be pods. There's going to be micro conferences within mega conferences.
Sure.
And it's going to be like we're right back at square one.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh.
So
what a world.
It's just, I want to talk about Bryce Perkins and how fun he was at Virginia rather than, Virginia's academics actually make them a good fit and they won a basketball national championship. It's just, I like sports, Ty, and this is all just other. It's all miscellaneous.